To all the real ones tuning in right at the beginning of today's show, welcome into Steelers Talk Live, my fellow Yinzers. We've got a great show lined up for you guys today. Can't wait to share with you guys, but first, let's talk a little bit about what's coming up on today's show. First, we're going to be going over the latest Steelers news and rumors here heading into Week 3. Of course, it's a big matchup versus the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday Night Football. I think we're going to learn a lot about this football team this week. Can't wait to discuss it with all of you guys today. Also, Bleacher Report says the Steelers should go out and get a 4-time Pro Bowl wide receiver to replace Diontae Johnson. Going to be revealing who that player is here in just a second when we get to that news and rumors segment. Then also make sure you stick around to the end of today's stream. Our third segment today, I'm going to be giving my Steelers versus Raiders Week 3 preview for Sunday Night Football. I'm going to be telling you guys the keys to victory. I'm going to be telling you guys which players to watch. I'm going to tell you guys the X factors for the Pittsburgh Steelers and trying to get this victory here in Week 3 to improve to 2-1. And then, of course, we got the weekly Steelers Talk Live mailbag where I answer your questions. Of course, last week, a big win versus the Cleveland Browns. Should they fire Matt Canada? If you want to ask about Kenny Pickett, if you want to ask whatever you want about the Pittsburgh Steelers, I am answering your questions today. So take advantage of your opportunity here by getting in the chat. Use hashtag Steelers or Super Chat to get your question on today's show. When we push that, we're going to be answering your questions. So if you have something you want me to ask, if there's something that you want me to break down for you guys, make sure you use hashtag Steelers or get your Super Chat in there where you can skip the line. We'll put you right at the top of the show. We'll give you some love if you send in a Super Chat and your question. And I'll bring on my partner in crime today, Mr. Coop. How are we doing today?
Let's go, baby. It's game weeks, Raiders hate week. And you know what that means, Sperry.
That's right. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Coop's been waiting to do that.
Oh, yeah.
For about the last 48 hours since we ended our watch party on Monday.
Since the second the game ended, all I could think about was this Wednesday at 4 p.m.
That's right, man. This is a great highlight of our week, talking Steelers ball with you guys. So make sure you get in the comments section now, get in the chat. Let me know who you think is going to win this league. Will it be the Pittsburgh Steelers or will it be the Las Vegas Raiders? Of course, once again, a primetime game for our beloved Pittsburgh Steelers there, Coop. The Raiders' defense is meh. They got kind of blasted last week by the Buffalo Bills. But the Steelers' offense is definitely struggling right now with Matt Canada, Kenny Pickett. We'll talk a lot about Kenny today and what he's shown us here these first 2 weeks. I think we're going to learn a lot about these two teams this week, Coop. I really do think that because, I think that's the Steelers, if it's 3 bad weeks of offense in a row, especially with the Raiders' defense, it's not a super talented defense. Yes, they have Max Crosby, but, the secondary isn't all that great in my opinion. And just overall, the talent's not really there for Las Vegas. So
Agreed.
if the Steelers offense can't get something going this week, I'm already worried, but the alarm bells are really going to be going off. I think the Steelers defense is going to get after Jimmy Garoppolo pretty good. Hopefully they can stop Josh Jacobs. This is the 3rd week in a row where the Steelers have to face like a really top-end running back. Of course, Nick Chubb had that really tough knee injury in Week 2 that kind of got off the hook there. But, Christian McCaffrey ran all over the Steelers defense. Nick Chubb was doing pretty darn well against the Steelers rush defense before he got hurt. And now Josh Jacobs, last year's rushing leader, is going to be the highlight of their offense this week. Hopefully, Coop, the Steelers defense can hold up.
Big week for the Steelers, man. I think they're the better team. I think they're better than the Raiders in basically every facet of the game. Now, they need Kenny Pickett to have his first good week, and we'll get into Kenny Pickett later, but the numbers are alarming in what we've seen in the first 2 weeks, so hopefully Pickett and Canada can get on the same page and they can get this one and improve to 2-1.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see who's in the chat right now. We got Raul. He's going with Pittsburgh. Alex Manifold's here. He goes with Pittsburgh. Jason Dodd says fire Canada. Let's see. Rashid says Pittsburgh. I wonder where are you from? Where are you from, Rashid? If you're seeing this, go ahead, let me know. Cassie Voth, my girlfriend, is here. She's saying Pittsburgh all the way. Steelers' dad is here. George's Opinions is here. Snowman is here. Jason L. is here. Illusion Aviator's here. Mark is here. Jason Dodds is here. Robert Folsom's here. We got a great group of Yinzers already in the chat, man. I love it. So, Coop, let's talk a little bit about some Steelers football here before we get into our segments. Will Matt Canada be fired before the bye? Of course, the Steelers' bye week this year is week 6. That would be probably one of the first firings for coaches in the entire league, if not the first.
If you don't count what happened with the Bears today as a firing, then yes, it would be.
Yeah, the Bears are kind of burning their house to the ground. That's absolutely nuts.
This is the Steelers channel nonetheless. Matt Canada will not be fired before week 6, I don't think. I just don't see them firing him that early into the season. I know it's been bad, and I know the trends are very alarming with this offense right now, but I just can't see a scenario where he only makes it 5 games in.
And, I know that Mike Tomlin, the head coach, is really somebody that's big into not listening to the noise outside of the facility, all this different stuff. But it's deafening, the amount of criticism that Matt Canada is getting around NFL circles right now. I mean, Colin Cowherd called him out on a show. Stephen A. Smith called him out on First Take.
Who's a Steelers fan.
And he's a Steelers fan. And listen, man, Matt Canada's name is being known around the league right now. He's a household name.
Not for a good reason.
But not for a good reason, because he sucks. I mean, it's him and Luke Getsy, the Bears offensive coordinator right now, that those two are kind of the poster boys for bad offensive play calling in this league. And listen, man, Steelers fans have known this for years at this point. The rest of the NFL's just waking up to how bad Matt Canada is. And here's the thing, Coop. Next 2 weeks, the Raiders and Texans, not good defenses.
Have to be good on offense.
If the offense stinks these next 2 weeks, even this week, if you score like 3 points, 7 points against that Raiders defense, I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Canada gets fired before the bye. I really wouldn't.
I recently started following the Steelers ever since that I've been working with you this season, and I already know that Matt Canada stinks. So, I mean,
it's obvious. If you watch the games, it's so clear.
You don't have to be a football expert to see
He loves screens. He loves jet sweeps. He loves all this different stuff. He loves 4 verticals in the red zone. It's absolutely unacceptable. We might have to sing the O Canada song.
I got to pull it
today,
up real quick.
Me too. I got to get the O Canada song up. Oh, my God.
I'm ready when you are.
So if you guys didn't catch last week's or on Monday's watch party, we came up with a new song to the tune of the Canadian national anthem, O Canada, to kind of share our hatred for the offensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Anthony Fuller, King Yinzer's in the chat.
King Yinzer's in the chat. What's up, Anthony? Let's go.
He says, yep, he's horrible.
He's horrible, man.
Alex Manifield wants us to sing the song, as is Afton and Joe, so let's do it.
All right, we'll sing the song right now for you guys. Oh, Canada, you dumb and stupid man. Oh, no, you suck, except for Mike Tomlin. With burning hearts we see you suck, calling jet sweeps 1, 2, 3. From far and wide, oh Canada, we share our hate for thee. F Canada, man.
F Canada.
F Canada, man. I really hope he can turn it around for my emotional well-being here.
But if not,
get rid of him. It's been 3 years, multiple quarterbacks.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
I mean, it's the SpongeBob meme every single week here on Steelers Talk, Coop. We want it to end. But anyway, man, Steelers made some roster moves today. Let's break them down here. They signed defensive tackle Braden Fahuku. They promoted him from the practice squad up to the active roster. I think this is a move in conjunction with the Cam Heyward injury news. He's going to be out for at least another 7 weeks. It looks like he's getting surgery on his groin. And listen, Fahuku is a nice piece to have. He's a hulking nose tackle, that run stuffer, that he was absolutely fantastic in training camp. I can't wait to see him out there in those goal line situations, short yardage situations. You want a brick wall at the nose tackle position. And, people like Montravius Adams. I love his motor. Maybe he's not the most productive nose tackle in the National Football League, but Fahuku is that completely menacing presence in there that nobody's going to move off his spot. Really excited to see him make the 53. Then also they signed running back Godwin Igwebuike to the 53-man roster to kind of replace Anthony McFarland Jr.'s role there as the running back 3. I wouldn't be surprised if Igwebuike ends up being a special teams player here moving forward after Gunnar Olszewski's awful performance in week 2. I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Tomlin says Audi 5000 to Mr. Gunnar Olszewski. And then wide receiver Deuce Watts has been signed to the practice squad here, of course, with the Diontae Johnson injury and all these different things. It looks like Gunnar Olszewski could be out the door here soon, especially after getting a concussion on Monday Night Football.
We're getting multiple comments in the chat saying F Gunnar, cut Gunnar.
Yeah, I mean, after that performance, that one boneheaded play, he's supposed to be a special team specialist. And he goes out there, the ball's about to go out of bounds on a kickoff at like the 11-yard line.
And you get it at the 40.
And not only does he catch it before it goes out of bounds, the ball is already out of bounds, and he toe taps it. That's the first toe tap he's ever had in his life. He sucks as a receiver. And, of course, the one time he does it, it's the last time we want him to do it.
We'll see you, Gunnar.
We'll see you, Gunnar. All right, so we got some Super Chat menu items for you guys today. $5, we'll do a Here We Go Steelers chant. We got our terrible towels here. We're waving around for you guys. $10, get your name on the Steelers Talk hard hat. I wear the hard hat during our watch parties, and we've got a bunch of names on there. Usually it's $20 on our watch parties. Here on the live show, it's $10, so you might want to take advantage of that deal. $20, we'll sing the Oh Canada song for you guys because we hate Canada here on the show. $50, you guys love these lemon juice shots that we did on on Monday's watch party. $50, we'll do a lemon juice shot. All right, Coop won't do it. It's just going to be me today. I got my pineapple shot glass here that I found in the kitchen. I'll be slamming those here if you put in 50s. $100 total on today's stream. It doesn't have to be all at once. It could be in intervals. It could be a couple 20s, a 50 here and there. You get to join Steelers Talk Gold Club, man. You get entered into every single raffle that we do during our watch parties, and you get a nice sticker that says Steelers Talk Gold Club on there every time you super chat. Here are some shout outs to all. We got 20 Gold Club members now, Coop. So thank you so much to Austin Tardif, Mo Love, Brian Love, Anthony Fuller, Nathan Glass, James Lombardo, DJ V, Patty Gustafson, Elliptic 6, Alexander Watson, Zach Eckert, Troy Hart, Andrew Longoria, Jesse Johnson, Go Blue Buckeyes, Samuel Pugh, Hot Rod 24, Black and Gold Emperor 40, Lord Buddy Bear, and Max Payne. All right, so we're about to get into our first segment today, going over the latest news and rumors from the Pittsburgh Steelers. But before we get going, let's get in the chat right now, and let's go, Here We Go Steelers. Get HGWS in there as many times as you can. Copy and paste that as many times as you can for the next 60 seconds. Let's get this going. Let's get off on the right foot here with some Here We Go Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. I see Mark in there. Mark Swearigan. He says, how to become a gold member? Just $100 in super chats total today. Okay, so you could put in a 50, you could put in a couple 20s, right? As long as you get to $100 total in super chat dollars donated today, you get to be a part of Gold Club. You get entered into every single raffle we do during our watch parties for free, and also gives you the opportunity to get extra tickets as well. And then you also get a Steelers Talk Gold Club sticker on there every time you super chat. It says Steelers Talk Gold Club on there. It's kind of like, I like to say it's like a blue check mark. Only it's a gold check mark here on Steelers Talk. Baby. It's Gold Club. So if you want to spend a little bit of money today, we'll go crazy for it.
I see Steelers Dad. I see Mark Illusion, Raul Herrera, Ajayi.
I see Tremaine in there. Tremaine, I see Illusion Advisor. I see Daryl Oglesby.
Oh, Daryl's in the chat too.
Daryl's in here, baby. Daryl's a Gold Club member. Let's go, man. DJ KJ is here. Snowman's here. Let's go, man. Here we go, Steelers. We're going to get things going today. And on today's show, in just a second, we're going to get into the latest Steelers news and rumors of the day. Bleacher Report suggests the Steelers should sign this 4-time Pro Bowl wide receiver that's still available on the free agent market to replace Diontae Johnson. Later in today's show, I'll be breaking down the Steelers versus Raiders game on Sunday Night Football, tell you what I think and my official score prediction for this one. And then also the Steelers Talk Live mailbag will be coming up here shortly. Make sure you use #Steelers or Super Chat along with your question to get on today's show. I think you guys are going to have some really interesting questions today after all the Canada stuff that's happened these first 2 weeks with Kenny Pickett, all these different things. TJ Watt is looking incredible. I think there's some great topics to talk about today, so make sure that you guys go down there and get your questions in. #Steelers or Super Chat to get your to get your questions on the show. $50, we'll do lemon shots. Lemon juice sucks, dude. It's like pure sour. It's terrible, but for $50, I'll do it. $20, we'll sing the Oh Canada song for you guys. $10 get you on the hard hat. And then $5, we'll do a Here We Go Steelers. So just keep that in mind here as we get the game, or as we get this show rolling. Coop, are we ready to get into our first segment today? All right, here comes some Steelers news and rumors coming at you right now. Should the Steelers sign T.Y. Hilton in NFL free agency to replace Diontae Johnson? Bleacher Report seems to think so. Going to be breaking that down on today's show. And then also, Kenny Pickett's slow start. There's some very interesting analytics and sabermetrics that I'm going to be breaking down today that really show how much Kenny Pickett is struggling to start this season. I think it's a proper insight to every Steelers fan out there. But before we get into today's action, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for our Week 3 watch party that we're going to be going live here 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday night. Cannot wait to break it down with you guys. It's going to be Steelers versus Raiders. I think we're going to learn a lot about these two football teams, particularly the Steelers in this one. You're not going to want to miss it. We're going to be going crazy. So make sure you click that subscribe button right now. Now let's talk about T.Y. Bleacher Report thinks that the 4-time Pro Bowl receiver should end up signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers after the Diontae Johnson hamstring injury. They placed him on IR. Diontae's going to be gone for at least the next 3 weeks. And it seems like Bleacher Report doesn't really trust Calvin Austin III to take Diontae's spot in these next couple of weeks. This is what Bleacher Report had to say about potentially signing the 4-time Pro Bowl receiver. The Steelers started the season with decent receiver depth, but it didn't take long for that to get called into question. Diontae Johnson with a hamstring missed Week 2, and George Pickens was limited in practice with a hamstring injury as well. The Steelers are going to lean on Calvin Austin III to have a breakout campaign, but they could stand to add to their receiver room. T.Y. Hilton could also moonlight as a Johnson replacement if need be. He doesn't have the same juice that Austin does anymore, but he's an experienced veteran who could be serviceable. Now, personally, if I'm being completely honest, I don't hate the idea, right? If Omar Khan got this guy for like the league minimum, brought him in here for some additional depth, I wouldn't hate the move. I wouldn't come up here on Steelers Talk and be like, T.Y. Hilton, signing that guy, that's a mistake. I'm not going to say that. However, I do like what the Steelers have in terms of depth. Yes, Diontae Johnson is out with an injury, but George Pickens showed that he can be a true number 1 receiving threat in Week 2 with that incredible 71-yard touchdown from a slant. I mean, this guy can freaking move. And then you also have Allen Robinson, and I do believe in Calvin Austin III right now to come into that role as that number 3 wide receiver. He's taking Diontae Johnson's spot in the Z position, so that's an outside wide receiver position. Allen Robinson is still playing most, if not all, of his snaps in the slot at this point in the season. But I'm cool with sticking with Calvin Austin III right now. I think that he's a good route runner. I think he's shown on film these last 2 weeks. I've watched every single snap that he's taken. He's looking really, really good, guys. I think that he's a good route runner. He's made some nice contested catches as well, and he is a legit deep threat. He's got legit 4.3, potentially even 4.2 speed. I mean, this guy is super fast, and even though he's tiny at 5'9", 162, he's a very dynamic weapon, and, I definitely don't think the Steelers need to go out and get a guy like T.Y. Hilton right now in NFL free agency. But let me know who you guys think is the better player right now. Which player would you rather see in that Z spot on the Steelers offense? Would you rather have T.Y. Hilton, type T.Y., or if you'd rather have Calvin Austin III, give me a CA3 down there in the comments. And this is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. Take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Now, Bleacher Report also gave the Steelers some other suggestions here, and they actually listed out the team needs at this point in the season. They say the Steelers still need cornerback, safety, linebacker, and wide receiver. And overall, I definitely agree with this assessment. If the Steelers wanted to add some players at certain positions, these are probably the ones that I would add them in. Maybe safety is a little bit lower on my list. I like DeMonte KZ and Keanu Neal, what they're doing as kind of like a rotational pairing. But linebacker, the linebackers haven't looked fantastic. Wide receiver, you have Diontae Johnson that's hurt right now. And then corner, both Patrick Peterson and Levi Wallace haven't exactly looked great through the first 2 weeks. So I definitely don't mind that. And now for the offseason pickups that Bleacher Report suggested for the Pittsburgh Steelers at this point. They said go out and get Patrick Queen in NFL free agency to fill out the inside linebacker room. Wouldn't hate that at all. I mean, he is a rat bird right now, so we don't like him here at Steelers Talk. But if he was willing to come over to the good side here, to the good guys during free agency, he's really, really good, man. He's really fast. He's good in pass coverage. He's a really good blitzer. And it doesn't look like Baltimore is going to pay him the money based on Roquan Smith's large contract. So if he wants to get some revenge on those Ratbirds in the future, he could come to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then the NFL Draft 2024. Right now, Bleacher Report suggests the Steelers to take Kool-Aid McKinstry, one of the best names in college sports right now, maybe ever. I love that name, man. I would love to say Kool-Aid makes the interception here on Steelers Talk for the next 10 years. He's a corner from Alabama. Make sure you keep your eye on him. It's way, way early to be talking about this stuff, but hey, I just wanted to let you know what Bleacher Report had to say. Now, before I get into the rest of today's news and rumors, we're going to be talking about Kenny Pickett here in just a second. Let's have a word from our sponsor at Odds Are. Today's Steelers Talk video is brought to you by our brand new sponsor, Odds Are. Go to oddsr.com/NFL Daily to start with a 30-day free trial. If you've ever wished that you could navigate the betting field with the confidence of a pro, then Odds Are is perfect for you. They're not a sports book, but they're the sports betting advisor you've always needed. It's like having a playbook for smarter bets right in your pocket. I've been absolutely loving the experience so far, and I think you will too, especially since Steelers Talk listeners get a 30-day free trial. Elevate your game today and join the smart betting revolution. Go get it at oddsr.com/NFL Daily. That's oddsr.com/NFL Daily. Now let's see how this kind of works, okay? So this is what you're going to see when you go into the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Las Vegas Raiders game this weekend, for example, when you go to the Odds Are app. And what this does here is it gives you a red light, a yellow light, or a green light. Red means do not bet. It's not a good value based on the AI, based on the trends, based on everything going around in the NFL right now. Yellow is you could do it if you feel strongly about it, but it's not a great value. But if it's green, like the over-under here, 43 points on this football game, here it's telling you to take the over. It says it's a green value. It's a great value. Got to get it. You cannot miss that value. It's absolutely fantastic, guys. So if you want that 30-day free trial for this incredible AI experience with sports betting, if you want to start making more money with your sports betting apps today, go to oddsr.com/NFL Daily for a 30-day free trial right now. When it comes to Kenny Pickett in these first two games of the season, if you've just watched the games, it's no secret that Kenny has struggled here through the first 2 weeks. But I think when you look at the sabermetrics and the analytics, the stuff that I really look at along with the film, personally, I'm somebody that's not really a 100% numbers guy, and I'm not a 100% film guy. I'm somebody that likes to look at the film. I'm somebody that likes to look at the numbers and really see if they coincide and see what I can take from the trends. Now, when it comes to the numbers, Kenny Pickett has looked absolutely abysmal to this point. You look at the points above replacement value here, which is one of the top stats that NFL front offices use to determine the value of players. Negative 13.5 points for the first two games. That is dead last in the National Football League. That's even worse than Zach Wilson, by the way. Then you get to expected points added, another big sabermetric that front offices use to determine the value of players. Negative 30.93, which is also dead last in the National Football League through two games. Not good enough there. Then when it comes to straight up the accuracy, we've looked at the value. Now let's look at the accuracy. The on-target percentage, which is passes, the percent of passes that are perfectly on target, 69%, Coop. Nice. 26th in the National Football League. However, the catchable percentage, the balls that are just in the vicinity of the wide receiver, 74.6. Last in the National Football League. Which, of course, if you take the other side of the coin there, the uncatchable percentage, over 25% of Kenny Pickett's throws are deemed uncatchable by the people that collect these kinds of stats. Almost over a quarter of his passes, uncatchable to this point in the season. That's absolutely atrocious numbers there by the starting quarterback that we all expected to take that second-year leap, and it just hasn't happened yet. Now that we've gone over all the stats that aren't good right now, we all acknowledge that. There is still time to turn this thing around, right? The Browns and 49ers defenses are among the best in the National Football League, And, coming up here, you got the Raiders and the Texans, two defenses that are not among the best in the league. So this is a really great opportunity for Kenny to gain some confidence after a really rough start, and it is still early in the season. So I'm not somebody that's going to completely base my opinion on a quarterback on 2 games. However, 2 bad games in a row is a pattern. So if he has another bad game here in week 3 against a bad defense that just gave up 30-plus points to the Buffalo Bills last week in the Las Vegas Raiders, it's going to be tough for me to continue to keep being optimistic about Kenny Pickett, right? Last year, towards the end of the season, he showed that he could be a really solid game manager for this team down the stretch, had 6 touchdowns, so only 1 interception in his last 7 games played, but he had under 60% completion percentage during that stretch. It's not like Kenny Pickett has shown us yet that he could be that legit, bona fide franchise quarterback yet. I do think it's possible for him to become that. I think he's got some really nice playmaking instincts. I think at his best, he's a really accurate passer, but to this point, it's been ugly, and he needs to turn it around fast. Now, predict it for me down there in the comment section. Is Kenny Pickett a bust right now? Let me know down there in the comments by typing yes or by typing no. For me personally, I'm going to say no right now. I'm not completely sold on Kenny Pickett being a bust. It's very possible that he's a bust. I'd say it's probably more than likely that he's a bust at this point. But am I completely shutting the door on Kenny Pickett proving himself this season? No, I am not. That's going to be it for today's show, guys. Really do appreciate all the support. If you want to learn more about the Steelers on Twitter, I put up a bunch of film breakdowns on there. I do a big deep dive, defense, offense, every single week on the Pittsburgh Steelers. So if you want to learn more about Kenny Pickett, what he's doing right, what he's not doing right, if you want to learn more about the scheme of Matt Canada's offense, if you want to learn more about what the Steelers like to run defensively, check me out on Twitter or X, whatever you guys want to call it, at Jack_Sperry. All right, man. We got the first super chat of the day here, Coop.
Ajayi Hodge.
I hope I'm saying that right. He sent in one of those characters, and it's a yellow dog. $1 from Ajayi Hodge. Really do appreciate you, man. And you know what? For the first super chat of the day, that's worth a Here We Go Steelers, man. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. All right, man. Keep those super chats coming. Make sure you get your questions in right now. #Steelers or super chat to get your question on today's mailbag. We'll be getting into that in about 2 to 3 minutes. So make sure you get that in. Make sure you use #Steelers. Make sure you super chat. $50. We'll do a lemon shot today if anyone wants to see me drink this disgusting lemon shot. $20. We'll sing the Oh Canada song. Let's have some fun today, man.
Let me ask you this question.
Sure.
If Matt Canada was not Kenny Pickett's offensive coordinator, do you think he would be better off than he has been so far in his career?
100%. I do think that when it comes to quarterbacks, especially guys that aren't like all the way there, and listen, man, let's just acknowledge it for what it is. Quarterbacks, especially coming out of college, they're not finished products.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That development needs to continue at the pro level. And if you're stuck with a guy like Matt Canada,
who's a fraud,
runs one of the worst offenses in the National Football League, wasn't even successful as a college coordinator, let alone an NFL coordinator.
He beat my Texas Longhorns twice, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, we're not going to talk about that, Coop, all right? So I really do think if Kenny went somewhere else, or if there was a different offensive coordinator here, I really do think Kenny could turn things around. But the thing is, man, he's stuck in a really bad situation, and you can see that with the numbers that we just showed. Dead last in both major value metrics that people look at to determine the value of quarterbacks. Dead last in the first 2 weeks. That's not good. It needs to get better. And if it doesn't get better, the Steelers are going to be looking for a new quarterback come next season. I really hope that's not the case. But, I mean, going into these next couple weeks against 2 bad defenses in the Raiders and Texans respectively, it's really going to be important for Kenny to get things going here and build some confidence, because it's only going to get more difficult from here. We got a $5 super chat from Autumn McCaddy. Thank you so much, Autumn. Says, I feel like we can't judge Kenny until we get a competent OC in there, because there's no reason we have all the talent and we can't score.
What was I telling you on Sunday night? They did not get George Pickens the football enough.
Monday night.
That's what Sunday, Monday, whatever. But yes, they don't get their best playmakers the ball enough, and it feels like George Pickens needs to touch the ball more. It also feels like Jalen Warren needs to touch the ball more.
Yeah, a lot of Steelers fans are saying that. It seems like Jalen is getting those explosive plays. And then George Pickens, man, I mean, you saw what happens when he put the ball in his hands. 71-yard touchdown. I mean, he's so fast. I mean, once he gets ahead of steam, you're not catching him. I think he's an underrated route runner. Of course, everybody knows him for the acrobatic catches. But, man, he is by far your best offensive player right now, in my opinion. And he gets 4 catches on Monday. Unacceptable.
You know what? We will answer this super chat in the mailbag as well as part of the mailbag.
Yeah, Autumn, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. And it's a $5 coup. So you know what that means, man. We're getting the terrible towels out. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Woo! I love it, man.
Chugs is in the office, but he is busy right now currently doing other things, so I apologize.
Cookie Monster says $50 for a lemon shot. This dude is high.
Well, here's the thing. He doesn't want to do it. That's why the price is high.
Here's the thing. We had multiple people send in $100 super chats on the watch party for lemon shots.
We had Lord Buddy there. We had Nathan Glass.
We had Max Payne. We slashed the price in half today. All right, so if you want to see that lemon shot, it tastes awful, man. That's what I'm telling you, bro. I know it's healthy, Cookie Monster. It tastes bad, though, man. It really, really does. All right, so we're going to get to this mailbag soon. How we doing on questions?
We're good to go.
We're good to go on questions? Cool, man. So right now we're at 102 people watching, 46 likes. Let's try to get that to at least 50 before we get into this mailbag here. Come on.
Like the video if you're a real one.
Like the video if you think the Steelers are winning this weekend. Let's see. Let's see who the real ones are right now. Oh! A 20 from my man, Gold Club member, Daryl Oglesby. Let's go, Daryl. He didn't even put anything in there. He just dropped it and left the
Silent
scene.
but deadly, Daryl.
Silent. I love it, Daryl. Gold Club
baby.
member. That's my dude right there with a 20. And you know what we're doing? 4 20s today, Coop. Oh, Canada, you dumb and stupid man. Oh, no, you suck, except for Mike Tomlin. With burning hearts we see you suck, calling jet sweeps 1, 2, 3. From far and wide, oh Canada, we share our hate for thee. F Canada! There we go.
No one likes Canada as a country or as a play call.
They both suck. I mean, Tim Hortons, you know, I like Tim Hortons.
I like Tim Hortons and I like poutine. That's about it.
Coop loves his poutine.
They don't make walleye sandwiches like they do in Minnesota.
No, they don't. Nobody makes walleye sandwiches like they do in Minnesota, though. All right, so pretty soon here, we're getting into this mailbag here. We got enough questions.
Lane, you're the GOAT.
But just so you guys know, this is our super chat menu today. $5. Here we go, Steelers. $10. We'll put your name on the Steelers hard hat that I wear during our watch parties. And then also $20, just like Daryl did. Oh, Canada. We'll sing that for you guys if you hate Canada. $50 lemon juice shots. After our final one, we might reduce the price of the lemon shots. But, man, I really don't want to do it.
This one's not going to go in the mailbag, but I have to bring this one up.
All right, so Matt Hyde says, hey, Jack, did you grab a cup and follow Petey around to catch his tears? Let me tell you, man, Petey was in shambles. If you didn't watch till the very end, we had puppy chow. And, of course, it looks like white dog crap.
Like their uniforms.
Like their uniforms on Monday. And we made a bet that if the Steelers won, he would come on our show and he would lick the white dog crap just like from Step Brothers. So that was a really great moment. He had to come on here and he had to lick and all that good stuff. That was a really, really fun night, Coop.
Lane says Jack and Coop are the GOATs. Lane, you're the GOAT.
Lane, you are the freaking GOAT, man. Thank you so much for your support. We got about 100 people watching. We've gotten past 55 likes. So, Coop, let's get into the Steelers Talk mailbag right now where I answer your questions.
In 2 seconds?
In 2 seconds.
All right, we're good.
All right, Coop's good. He had to check his text from his girlfriend there.
Nope. Just had to reset the time.
Okay, here we go. Let's get into this Steelers Talk mailbag coming at you right now. Week 3 of the NFL season is right around the corner here, Steelers Nation. You guys have cooked up some great questions for me today on this week's Steelers Talk Mailbag, where I answer your questions on the Pittsburgh Steelers. So let's just jump right into it here with our first question from Autumn McCaddy here, a $5 super chat. And she says, I hope it's a she. She says, I feel like we can't judge Kenny until we can get a competent OC in there because there's no reason we have all that talent and we can't score. So this is what I'll say, Autumn. Let's give Kenny credit where it's due, and let's give him blame where it's due, and then same thing with Matt Canada. You know, I'm somebody that watches every single snap of the Pittsburgh Steelers on the All-22. So when I look at a play, you know, I'll look at all the variables, right? I don't want to take like a blanket statement and say Kenny Pickett isn't to blame here because I look at the film and there's definitely reps on there, lots of them, where it's on him. It's not even necessarily on Canada. Now, I'm not saying that Canada has given him a great environment to grow and develop. That's definitely not the case. But, man, when you got a quarterback that has open receivers on third down and multiple times, like it's wide misses. You look at the on-target and catchable percentages here throughout his first couple of games. About 1 in every 4 throws is a wide miss. It's deemed uncatchable. That is absolutely atrocious. That's last in the National Football League, and that's on Kenny, right? That's not on the offense. The offensive coordinator cannot throw it for the quarterback, so it's looking like Kenny's having some accuracy issues. He's always had some issues sticking in the pocket. You know, there's things that I like about him. I love his leadership. I love his ability to get outside the pocket and make plays. I love his work ethic, all these different things. And I'm not totally giving up on him, but there's definitely reason for the alarm bells to sound. Then we got one from Ajayi Haj here, who says, will Kenny improve in week 3? I freaking hope so, man. Las Vegas, you know, the one little glimmer of hope here that I have is that the Browns and 49ers defenses, respectively, they're great defenses, okay? The talent is all over the place. They got great pass rushes, all these different things. Las Vegas is different. They got Max Crosby, who's an elite edge rusher there, but that's about it. That's really their only dynamic talent on that defense, and the secondary's not very good. It's not very talented at all. Marcus Peters is their number 1 corner right now, so this is definitely a situation where Kenny Pickett needs to step up and show us that he is the guy here in Pittsburgh. It's going to be very interesting. I think we're going to learn a lot about Kenny in this game. If he stinks again, it might be time to talk about him being a bust in the National Football League. Now, be honest with me down there in the comments section. What is your confidence level in Mr. Kenny Pickett right now? Put it on a scale of 1 to 10. And this is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw in an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Then we got a question from Illusion Aviator here who says, how long do you think until Tomlin legitimately wants Canada to go? You know, it's definitely tough because Mike Tomlin's loyal to Matt Canada. He's loyal to the people in his organization. That's why the Steelers are so respected around the league. But there are times, man, where somebody's not getting the job done, and you got to say sayonara. You got to show him the door. And Matt Canada is Exhibit A of that type of example, man. He needs to go. And if this offense doesn't get better throughout probably the next 2 weeks, right? If the offense still stinks, even after playing the Raiders and the Texans, who have struggling defenses right now, I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing here? What are we expecting things to turn around against better defenses? Certainly not. So I think Matt Canada, the clock is definitely ticking on Canada. If things don't get better by the bye, I would expect a new offensive coordinator to take over. Then we got one from my man Alex Manerful here. He says, will the Steelers look for a QB at the deadline if Big Ken is still struggling? I mean, I think that they might if somebody becomes available, right? There's the Teddy Bridgewaters of the world that are still out there, Jacoby Brissett. You know, there's some decent replacement level starters out there that are currently backups. But I think that they feel good about Mitchell Trubisky if they need to go to him. Now, I really think they're going to give Kenny Pickett a long stretch of road here, right? He's got a long leash, all right? He's somebody that's second year in the league, right? He's the guy that drafted in the first round. They don't want to bench him because if you do, you're pretty much destroying his confidence and, you know, you're really not believing in him as your starting quarterback any longer. So they're going to take their time to make that decision. They're not going to make that decision until they're 100% sure that that's the right call. So, you know, it might be I mean, I really don't think they're going to move off Kenny this year. If they do, I think it's probably going to be Mitch because he has the experience in the offense. He had a couple pretty decent games last year. I know he gets blasted for, the 3 interception games against the Ravens, and then overall the offense wasn't great with him in. But he did come in that Tampa Bay game. Good defense there in Tampa, and he led this team to a victory. So I think they like Mitch as their backup quarterback. If they end up benching Pickett, which I think is very unlikely at this point, even if he keeps struggling, I think Mitch should probably be their guy. All right, coming up here, I got more questions from you, the fans of Steelers Nation. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor at Odds Are. Today's Steelers Talk video is brought to you by our brand new sponsor, Odds Are. Go to oddsr.com/NFL Daily to start with a 30-day free trial. If you've ever wished that you could navigate the betting field with the confidence of a pro, then Odds Are is perfect for you. They're not a sports book, but they're the sports betting advisor you've always needed. It's like having a playbook for smarter bets right in your pocket. I've been absolutely loving the experience so far, and I think you will too, especially since Steelers Talk listeners get a 30-day free trial. Elevate your game today and join the smart betting revolution. Go get it at oddsr.com/NFL Daily. That's oddsr.com/NFL Daily. Now let's see how this kind of works, okay? So this is what you're going to see when you go into the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Las Vegas Raiders game this weekend, for example, when you go to the Odds Are app. And what this does here is it gives you a red light, a yellow light, or a green light. Red means do not bet. It's not a good value based on the AI, based on the trends, based on everything going around in the NFL right now. Yellow is you could do it if you feel strongly about it, but it's not a great value. But if it's green, like the over-under here, 43 points on this football game, here it's telling you to take the over. It says it's a green value. It's a great value. Got to get it. You cannot miss that value. It's absolutely fantastic, guys. So if you want that 30-day free trial for this incredible AI experience with sports betting, if you want to start making more money with your sports betting apps today, go to oddsr.com/NFL Daily for a 30-day free trial right now. The next question is coming in from Lane Ewig here, who says Jaylen Warren needs to be the 3-down back. He brings the explosiveness this offense needs right now. Now, listen, this is what I'll say, man. Jaylen Warren has been very impressive to me here through these first 2 weeks. He's gotten more explosive plays than Najee Harris has, both as a rusher and as a pass catcher. But listen, man, there's not really many true 3-down backs in the National Football League anymore, right? With how much wear and tear these guys get throughout their careers. Teams are really going to 2 running back and sometimes even 3 running back committees where they get to share the different roles here. Most teams have a workhorse where they get most of the plays on first and second down, and then they have a 3rd down back to come in who's a good blocker, who's a good receiver, who has a specific skill set. And Jaylen is supposed to be that 3rd down back. I think he's a really good 3rd down guy, one of the best in the league. But with the way Najee Harris is playing, I mean, at one point, this past game on Monday night, he had 6 rushes for 4 yards. I mean, part of that is on the offensive line for sure. The offensive line is the main engine of the run game. But, man, I mean, what's the excuse for Jaylen Warren there? I mean, he's running with the same offensive line, and he's getting to the line of scrimmage faster with more explosiveness. So, I don't think Jaylen Warren needs to be on the field for every single down. I still think you need to split it a little bit. But because of the way Warren's playing, I think you certainly have to split it up a little bit more evenly right now when it comes to the total snap count between Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. If Najee completely falls off here and it's in the weeks to come, Warren really establishes himself as the guy here in the run game, I would 100% agree with you. I would just say right now it is a little bit early to make that kind of change. Then we got one from the Iron Curtain here. He says, is it time for the Steelers to start Broderick Jones and Joey Porter Jr.? Yes, it is, 100%. Dan Moore Jr. is one of the lowest, if not the lowest graded offensive tackle in football right now, in the NFL, I should say. I mean, if you got a first-round rookie waiting in the wings, go ahead, put him in there. He can't be any worse than what we're getting with Dan Moore Jr. right now. And listen, man, we heard all these good things about Dan Moore Jr. this offseason, how he's completely reinvented himself. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it, man. He's been really, really bad for these first 2 weeks. He's getting cooked regularly. And Broderick Jones at this point, man, I'd put the kid out there and see what he can do. When it comes to Joey Porter Jr., he's been kind of in a limited spot here. He's been more of a rotational guy when either Patrick Peterson or Levi Wallace gets tired, I should say. And he comes in these big moments, 3rd down, 4th down, late game situations. And he had the game-winning PBU on Monday versus Cleveland. The fans want JPJ and Broderick Jones to play. I think at this point, with the way that Levi Wallace has looked, Patrick Peterson has looked, you got to give Joey Porter Jr. a shot. And with the way Dan Moore Jr. is looking right now at left tackle, it seems like you got to give the first-round rookie a shot at that left tackle position as well, at least in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Which players should start? Do you think just Joey Porter Jr. should get a shot? Give me a JPJ. Do you think it should be just Broderick Jones? Give me a BJ. Or if you think both should get the starting opportunity moving forward, type both in all caps down there in the comments section. Then we got one from Pittsburgh Steelers fan 8 here who says, Steelers talk, how do you feel about Presley Harvin's performance on Monday? I liked it quite a bit. You know, there was a couple of those touchbacks that you don't really love, but he had a couple really well-placed punts. I mean, Mike Tomlin's been calling him out in press conference after press conference here, even going back to last season, and he really stepped up and really showed us what they saw in him when they drafted him, right? I think that he's somebody that he's always had the physical potential to be a really good punter in this league, just hasn't been able to put it together to this point. On Monday night, I thought he looked pretty darn good. He had that one where it was perfectly placed on the sideline, right at the pylon at the 1-yard line. That's the stuff you want to look for in your future punter, and hopefully he can continue that success moving forward. Then we got one from Robert Folsom here. It says, TJ Watt is the Defensive Player of the Year this year and will have 24 sacks. I mean, that's a bold prediction there, Robert. I mean, but right now he's on target to have over 30 sacks, right? He already has 4 to start this season. It's absolutely incredible to see what he's been able to do through these first 2 games. And listen, I'm not going to put anything past TJ. I think he could absolutely have 20-plus sacks this year. 24 is going to be tough to get. That beats the all-time single-season record by a whole sack and a half. So, I mean, I don't know, man. That's going to be tough. But if anybody could do it, it's going to be TJ Watt. And I do agree with you, by the way. I think he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. Then we got one from Terry Bradshaw himself. What's up, my man? Says, where do you see the Steelers finishing in the AFC North after what you've seen from the first 2 weeks? Think they still make the playoffs? Now, this is what I'll say. I'm always going to believe in the Pittsburgh Steelers, but here's the thing. If we get the Steelers the way that they played the first 2 weeks for the rest of this season, I'm going to say they get to like 8-9, 9-8, and they probably miss the playoffs. Probably 3rd place in the AFC North. I know the Bengals are struggling right now, but Burrow's eventually going to get healthy, and they're going to go on a run at the end of the season. Baltimore is 2-0 right now. Cleveland, I think their season's over now with Nick Chubb out and Deshaun Watson not looking good. I think they'll be last. I don't think the Steelers will be dead last in the division this year. But unless things really turn around offensively, and really I don't have any evidence to think that it will get a lot better moving forward. I really hope it does. We're going to be here on the channel documenting this season, everything that goes on. But based on what I've seen so far with Matt Canada and Kenny Pickett and the Steelers offense, I have to say I think they finished 3rd and they missed the playoffs. Now predict it for me down there in the comments section. Where will the Steelers finish in the AFC North this season? Do you feel confident in these guys? Do you feel less confident than you did going into the season? Let me know your feelings down there in the comments section. I want to hear from you guys. That'll be it for this week's mailbag, guys. Thank you to everybody that got their questions in this week. If you want to join the most interactive Steelers YouTube community here on the platform, you can subscribe to the channel today, join our family, and you can have your voice heard here on the channel every single week by joining us for our mailbags on the Steelers Talk Live show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, Coop, two segments down now.
When you were asking people who should start, you literally said, give me a BJ.
Yeah, give me a BJ down there in the comments section. That's what I love.
I was dying laughing. John Doe saw it too. He said.
Yes. That was intentional.
It was intentional.
That was intentional. I love doing that. I love putting Broderick Jones on those weigh-in twos, man. Because you know what I get to say? Give me a BJ down there in the comments section.
Cassie, I hope you're not watching.
Oh, she definitely is. Babe, I love you. Okay? I love you. All right, so coming up here, don't go anywhere. We got 123 people watching. I'm giving you my Steelers versus Raiders Week 3 preview, keys to victory, what the Raiders like to run schematically, their strengths, their weaknesses, all of it. We're breaking it all down here on the channel here in about 2 to 3 minutes.
Pittsburgh Steelers fan 8 says, thanks, guys. Huge fans. Thank you for submitting your question, my guy.
Yeah, thanks Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I saw you at the Monday Night Watch Party, too, so thank you so much for your support. Cassie says, LOL.
She says, I'm here. I'm
here.
dead.
Excuse me for the sneeze there.
Cassie, I'm sorry you have to deal with him. I try to keep him in line while we're at work, so by the time he comes home to you, he's all, calmed down and chilled out.
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
I'm pretty chilled out by the time I get home.
Work.
Man. I get pretty rowdy here at work. All right, so now go down there and Coop, I want to hear your prediction here.
Ooh.
Everybody just heard what I think about the Steelers. If things continue and they don't get better, and that's not necessarily a prediction, right? I hope and I expect this team to get better, right? There's just too much talent. But based on what I've seen, I think it's third place. Mike Tomlin somehow gets his way to 9-8, and they miss the playoffs.
I think second or third is kind of, look, I mean, the Bengals are 0-2 right now.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing with that. Burrow has looked awful because he's not healthy.
He's not healthy at all.
And he's probably going to be sitting out this week, and he's eventually going to get healthy. And with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and all the guys that they have.
Here's why I think they're going to finish second. The Browns stink, and the Ravens, I don't trust them at all either.
I trust them a bit more than you do. I hate them to high heaven, but John Harbaugh is a good coach, man.
He's a good coach.
He gets them to be competitive every year. And Lamar Jackson, I mean, he hasn't looked great through these first 2 weeks, but he's Lamar freaking Jackson, man. He's tough. I think the Steelers will probably maybe even sweep the Ravens because Lamar cannot play against this really good Steelers defense. But when it's all said and done, man, I really hope this offense gets better because what you're saying here, Coop, is right. The AFC North is winnable the Steelers this year. But the offense needs to get better. I mean, right now you look at the numbers with Kenny Pickett, dead last in value, dead last in accuracy. Those numbers need to get better, and you definitely can't have a freaking uncatchable pass.
Agreed.
1 in every 4 passes.
It just can't work.
That is so bad.
That's how you get benched in the NFL.
That's how you get benched. 100%, man. Couldn't agree more with that right there.
IQ takes Elo, says he's been subbed for a while. Go Steelers. We appreciate you, my guy.
Brandon Waters says hello. Say my name. What's up, Brandon? Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and join us for that Week 3 watch party Sunday night. It's going to be absolutely fantastic, man. Can't wait to get that going. We had a great time on Monday. It's going to be even better on Sunday. We add almost like 1,000 subscribers every time that we have a watch party. It's insane.
We drown our competition in money.
That's right. That's what we do. We have super chat battles with teams. We probably won't do one with Raiders this week.
Maybe not. Well, hopefully we do, and they'll. More Buddy Bear will come over this way.
I mean, that would be great. Raiders is our biggest channel here at Chat Sports, by the way. They get thousands of dollars in super chat revenue every single week, so it'd be tough to beat those guys. But hey, man, if we got some Steelers Talk legends down there, who knows?
Pittsburgh Steelers fan has a good point. He says, with work in the morning, I hate those late night games. Not a fan of the games, but they are fun because everyone's watching.
Especially if you're like on the East Coast, like many of our fans are. It's like 8:15 kickoff. You're going to bed at 12, at least past midnight. It's a tough go of it if you're on the East Coast. But at the end of the day here, these fans will stay up until, the rapture to watch a Steelers game.
Imagine the fans that are in Europe. They're staying up till 1 a.m.
Yeah, man, those are the real ones right there. The ones in Europe, the ones in Ireland. There's so many Steelers fans in Ireland. I was surprised by how much there is there. But here we go, man. We still got 111 people watching, 75 likes. We need to get to 80 likes here before we start our next segment. I'm going to be previewing the Steelers versus Raiders matchup here in Week 3.
Bet US.
Gotcha. We got to get to 80 likes here first, though. We've only got 75, 76.
Like the video, baby.
Who's going to get us to 80? Come on, baby. We just need a couple more.
Snowman was in the chat and says, hit the like button, please, folks. Be like Snowman and listen to him.
Snowman knows what's up, man. He really, really does. Mimic Trazers here says, how many of those uncatchables are intentional to the sideline due to about to be sacked? So a catchable percentage actually takes out throwaways.
It takes out throwaways.
It takes out throwaways. So that's on passes intended for a wide receiver.
Thank you, Brandon. We appreciate you.
So, I mean, that's just crazy. Brandon Waters just said he liked. Thank you so much, my friend. We just hit 80 likes, Coop, which means we are getting into the Steelers versus Raiders preview heading into Week 3. On today's show, we're going to be previewing the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday Night Football. Before we get into that, make sure you click that subscribe button and join us for our Week 3 watch party starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. This week, we're going to be having over an hour of pregame coverage followed by live play-by-play of every single snap of this football game, and then, of course, our postgame coverage as well. If you want to get crazy, if you want to kick it with your fellow Yinzers during Steelers games this year, this is the place for you. We have the biggest Steelers watch parties on the YouTube platform. So if you want to join your fellow Yinzers this Sunday night, go ahead and click that subscribe button right now. Now let's talk about this Sunday night matchup. It's going to be at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas at the spaceship there that I like to call it. 1-1, both teams here. Of course, this is a rematch of last year's game on Christmas Eve, the Franco Harris game, of course, at Acrisure Stadium. Kenny Pickett led the team right down the field, right down the throats of the Raiders defense in negative degree weather and threw a bullet touchdown pass to George Pickens in one of the best moments Steelers fans have had in a very, very long time. Now let's get to this Week 3 opponent breakdown here with the Las Vegas Raiders. 1-1. They beat the Denver Broncos on the road in Week 1. Then you follow that up with a blowout against the Buffalo Bills in Week 2. The head coach is Josh McDaniels. Of course, Raiders fans do not like Josh McDaniels whatsoever. The offensive scheme that he runs is a modern pro spread offense. He comes from the school of the Erhard Perkins offense, popularized by the LA Rams in the early 2000s. And, you know, it's a very difficult offense to run and a very difficult offense to stop if it's run properly. Of course, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be their quarterback. We're going to be getting into him in just a little bit. The defensive scheme, a Belichick style, multiple style system. So they're going to run everything, but they're really going to base with a lot of dime packages, lots of DBs on the field, lots of cover 1, lots of cover 7, lots of man match coverages. But, you know, the defensive coordinator here, Patrick Graham, he's really going to do a great job at mixing things up, keeping you on your toes. It's a very good scheme, both offense and defense. It's just a matter of execution on the player's part at this point. Now, I'm going to be getting into the strengths and weaknesses of the Las Vegas Raiders here in just a second. But first, who you guys got this week? Do you have the Steelers beating the Raiders, or do you have the Raiders beating the Steelers? Give me PIT if you think Pittsburgh comes away with the win, or give me an LV if you think the Raiders come away with the win this week. Now let's go ahead and get a word from our sponsor at BetUS here. Use promo code Steelers125 at chatsports.com/bet for a 125% deposit bonus today. Now, what does that mean, a deposit bonus? That means if you put in a deposit of $100 to $600, that means that BetUS is going to match that 125%. So if you put in $100, they give you an additional $125, $225 total to use on your bets for just a $100 deposit. I think that's a fantastic deal. If you agree with me, go ahead, go to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code Steelers125 to take advantage of that deposit bonus today. Now let's get into the strengths and weaknesses of the Las Vegas Raiders heading into this Week 3 matchup. And listen, I think that the Raiders are a little bit better than people give them credit for. They've got some legitimate strengths here. Let's start with the coaching. It's very smart coaching. I'm not going to necessarily say it's elite coaching because, listen, the Raiders had their struggles last year. We all know that. The Raiders fans want Josh McDaniels fired, all these different things. It still remains to be seen if Josh McDaniels is a leader of men in the National Football League, but there's no doubt that he and Patrick Graham, the defensive coordinator, know their stuff when it comes to the X's and O's. It's a very difficult offense to stop because it gives the quarterback the ability, if he can read defenses, to change plays at the line of scrimmage and can really mold the offensive play to beat that specific coverage. So if you have a quarterback that can do it, It's very good coaching. And then on defense, they throw a lot of different things at you, a lot of press. They make you beat them. It's a lot of difficult stuff that Patrick Graham throws at you, so you're going to have to deal with those X's and O's that they're going to be throwing at you here in week 3. Also, they have arguably the best wide receiver in football, Davante Adams, on the outside. And with the way the cornerbacks for the Steelers have been playing through the first couple of weeks, it could be a serious problem here to have Davante Adams on the outside wreaking havoc. Then also, they've got a dynamic running back in Josh Jacobs, led the league in rushing last year. Obviously, a fantastic talent at the running back position. He's one of the true 3-down running backs that we have in the league today. You got to make sure that you can get him. Christian McCaffrey and Nick Chubb, at least when he was healthy, were both running pretty darn well on the Steelers' rush defense. But this week, you're really going to have to focus on getting Josh Jacobs, JJ, on the ground. Then they also have a legit number 1 edge rusher. So they have these really great talents at these really important positions. Max Crosby has arguably, if not probably the best bull rush in the National Football League today. If you can't anchor, this guy is going to destroy you time and time and time again. I expect the Raiders to probably double team, or for the Steelers to double team him in this game. Then also they have a decent O-line. It's not great. They're not going to be throwing at you, it's not going to be the Eagles or anything like that, but they have some nice pieces on there, and they protect Jimmy Garoppolo at least enough, and they've graded out pretty decent here to start this season. However, there are some very glaring weaknesses here in Las Vegas, starting with the quarterback. This system really does depend on how good your quarterback is. We saw that with Tom Brady in New England for years. You need a guy that's extremely intelligent. You need somebody that's accurate. You need somebody that can target all areas of the field. And Jimmy does most of those things really well. Here's my scouting report on Jimmy Garoppolo for this week. Really like the footwork. Really like the pocket presence, the ability to move within the pocket. The throwing mechanics are super clean. The accuracy is on point most of the time. One of the more accurate quarterbacks in the league. And he's very smart. The mental processing, both pre and post snap, really, really good. However, the cons, the arm strength, really difficult for Jimmy to target outside the numbers on those outside routes towards the sideline, particularly deep, because he doesn't have the strongest arm. The deep ball throwing is definitely an issue as well with the arm strength issues. He never tries to throw it out there. He likes to throw in the middle of the field. And then the thing with Jimmy is that he doesn't have much in terms of athleticism, in terms of playmaking outside the pocket. He's somebody that can make plays within structure, and you better protect him. So it's going to be difficult for him if the Steelers' defense and pass rush can get home and put him on the ground. For me, he's a replacement-level NFL starter. He's fine, particularly in this kind of system that allows him to kind of have free reign of the play, make hot routes, make checks at the line of scrimmage. He's a very smart quarterback, so it fits him nicely. But also, another weakness here for the Las Vegas Raiders is the overall pass rush. You have Max Crosby in there. That's really amazing. He's top 10, if not top 5 edge rusher in the league today. However, the rest of the defensive line here, I mean, the depth is just not great, right? You have Max Crosby, you have Tyree Wilson, who's nice. Chandler Jones is not going to be on the field on Sunday night, and then Malcolm Kuntz. It's like, I really don't believe in the talent here. Tyree Wilson is still a very raw prospect. They've been playing Malcolm Kuntz more than Wilson to this point in the season, and he hasn't graded particularly well. And then on the interior, it's not much better. You got Jerry Tillery as your nose tackle, and then Bilal Nichols as your first defensive tackle 3 technique. Not great talent overall on the defensive line, so this is something the Steelers need to take advantage of, and Kenny Pickett should have at least relatively decently clean pockets throughout this evening. Then finally, the secondary talent there in the back. Speaking specifically to the cornerbacks here, the safeties are okay. Trayvon Merrick, Marcus Epps, those guys are fine. But the cornerback depth here is just not great whatsoever. You got Marcus Peters in there as your number 1 corner. You also got Jacorian Bennett on the other side. He's not particularly great either, a really young player. Nate Hobbs is the nickelback. He's pretty decent, but I definitely wouldn't be surprised here if the Steelers try to get Hobbs off the field by getting into some of these heavier packages and put 2 and 3 tight ends on the field. Now let's get into my keys to victory for this football game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 1, you got to run the damn football, man. This was one of my keys to victory last week. They didn't do it enough. Right now, about 7 out of every 10 plays offensively, the Steelers are throwing the football. That needs to get a lot closer. to 50-50 or even 60-40 running the football. I think that with this defense being as elite as it is, you want to shrink games. You want the ability to control the time of possession. The way you do that is you run the football effectively. They haven't been able to do that through the first couple of weeks. But another big reason why establishing the run game is so important this week is that I think you need to open things up with Kenny Pickett via the play action passing game, and you got to attack down the field via that avenue, because you don't want to be getting into these third and long situations. You don't want to be getting into these situations for Kenny where the defense knows he's throwing. In those situations, Kenny has been abysmal this year. However, if they're scared of the run on second and short or third and short, and then he pulls it and George Pickens is one-on-one down the field off of play action, I think that Kenny can thrive in that kind of system, and I think that's something that this offense needs to prioritize moving forward. Then I think you also, on offense, you got to double Max Crosby. The rest of this offense, our defensive line for the Raiders, you don't really have to worry about it too much. You can have one-on-one matchups with the rest of the guys on this defensive line. However, with Max Crosby, I mean, seriously, with Chukwuma Okorafor, I don't necessarily trust him. I'd put Darnell Washington in there to chip Max Crosby on every single play, if not straight up double him this week to make sure he doesn't make a huge impact in getting them a victory. Then also, now we move to the defense. You got to defend the middle of the field. Jimmy Garoppolo is one of the best in football at targeting down the middle of the field, but then again, he's also one of the worst at targeting outside the numbers. So you got to force Jimmy G outside the numbers in this game, put a bunch of bodies in the box, put a bunch of bodies in the middle, and then you're going to have to trust Patrick Peterson, Levi Wallace, Joey Porter Jr., whoever's on the outside to hold up one-on-one against guys like Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers, but that's something that is definitely something I'm willing to risk given the limitations of Jimmy Garoppolo as the Raiders quarterback. Then finally, the way that I think that you can kind of manage those outside receivers and Devontae and Jacoby and all these different guys that they put out there is that you jam them at the line of scrimmage. We've seen this with Mike Tomlin defenses for years at this point, almost decades at this point, where he loves to get guys up at the line of scrimmage. We've been seeing a lot more quarters looks, a lot more corners playing back this year, but I want to see them get nasty. I want to see them get up there, jam those guys at the line of scrimmage, and I want to see Patrick Peterson go up mano-a-mano versus Devontae Adams in press and win, because that's going to put pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo to try to get them open and then also throw those accurate passes to them. So now coming up here, I have some Steelers X factors. I got 5 players for the Steelers that have to play well here in Week 3 in order to get a victory. But before we get into those, make sure you like today's video if you want the Pittsburgh Steelers to win here in Week 3 and get to 2-1. Now let's get to those X factors here. And of course, number 1 needs to be the quarterback here. Mr. Kenny Pickett is my number 1 X factor. You need to be able to throw the ball effectively. He has not looked good through these first couple of weeks. Let's just be honest. The numbers clearly show that. The film clearly shows that. And it's not all on Matt Canada. There is a portion of the blame to be had for Canada, but a big portion of it also goes to Kenny Pickett. This is going to be a big week for Kenny, because this is going to be easily the worst defense that he's played to this point in the season. And if he can't put up solid numbers at least against this team, and he continues to be inaccurate, he continues to do the things that have really shot this offense in the foot through the first 2 weeks of the season, then it's going to be alarm bell sounding time here in Pittsburgh with Kenny Pickett. Plain and simply, he needs to get it done against this defense this week, or I'm going to be seriously concerned. Then also, T.J. Watt, of course, the best defensive player on this team, probably on the planet right now. He's got 4 sacks right now, 3 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery for a touchdown. You just don't see these kinds of numbers through the first 2 weeks of the season. You just don't. These are insane numbers. It's going to be extremely tough for anybody to catch up to T.J. Watt if he stays healthy this year. And listen, man, he's going up against Jermaine Illuminor. And listen, Illuminor is a friend of Chat Sports. He's come on the Raiders show that we have a bunch of times. But respect to you, Jermaine, you're not ready for T.J. Watt, man. You're just not. They're going to have to chip. They're going to have to double team. They're going to have to do a bunch of different things. Last year he allowed 3 sacks. So it says 2023. It was actually in 2022. He allowed 3 sacks last year. And I'm looking at T.J. Watt, and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 3 sacks in this game. All right, so it's going to be interesting to see how the Raiders deal with T.J. Watt, but he's got to have a big game if this defense is going to carry the load once again. Another X factor here, George Pickens. You got to get 14 the football, man. plain and simply. We saw that last week against the Browns. You put the ball in the hands of 14, he gets in the end zone, he makes big plays. He is a special, special talent to this point. 9 receptions, 163 yards, and a touchdown. 71 of those 163 yards came on 1 catch on a slant. You got to be doing everything in your power, especially with Diontae Johnson out of the lineup, to get this mother effer the ball, man. This guy is a dog, and you got to get him the football as much as you humanly possibly can, because he's 6'3", 200, runs probably a 4.4, and he's got some of the best hands in the league. I mean, this guy can do everything. You got to get him the football. In my opinion, he's the second coming of DeAndre Hopkins, and he might even be better someday. Then we got, he's going up against Marcus Peters, who is the number 1 corner. The number 1 corner here at Las Vegas, and he would probably be the number 4 corner here in Pittsburgh, okay? So, he likes to press. He likes to be aggressive. You're going to see probably at least 1 defensive pass interference on Marcus Peters in this game, especially going up against George Pickens. But, man, he is very susceptible to giving up big plays down the field. It's been that way the last couple of years. And at the end of the day, man, I think George Pickens is really, really getting ready to feast here in Week 3. Another player that needs to have a big game is Patrick Peterson, because I think the Steelers are going to be trusting him one-on-one on the outside versus Davante Adams a lot in this game, playing press coverage. And this is what his bread and butter was for so many years in the National Football League. He's kind of converted to more of a quarters/cover 6 instincts type of corner the last couple of years. And let's just call it what it is. He hasn't played all that well through the first 2 weeks. He's played fine, but has he played like a true lockdown corner? No, he hasn't. He has 3 pass breakups, which is pretty darn good. He hasn't been bad, I'll say that. But has he really shown the ability to be a true lockdown like he once was? No, he still doesn't have an interception. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he handles Davante Adams in this game. And he needs to have a good one here if the Raiders aren't going to completely gash this Steelers defense. Then another player that I think needs to have a good game, particularly in the special teams unit, even though he's going to be playing pretty much the entire game as the Z wide receiver, is Calvin Austin III. So speedy, so shifty. I know he's tiny, man, but this guy can freaking move. He's a deep threat. Look for some of these deep shots down the field from press coverage, because you know you're going to see them from this Raiders defense. And I want to see at least 1 big punt return from Calvin Austin III in this football game. I think you might need that because the offense might not be super successful again this week. So if that's the case, you need your defense to show up, and you need Calvin Austin III to really give us a spark on special teams as well. Now, without further ado, here is my score prediction for Week 3 here on Sunday Night Football. I am picking the Steelers to win this football game by a score of 23-20. I don't know if that's going to be on a last-second field goal. I don't know if that's going to be 2 defensive touchdowns again. I don't know if Kenny Pickett's going to figure it out. But I have a feeling here when it comes to the Franco-Harris game, this Franco-Harris rivalry, the Immaculate Conception rivalry, all these different things. The Immaculate Reception, not Conception rivalry there, Coop. But anyway, excuse my mistake there. Anyway, my Week 3 score prediction, I think the Steelers find a way to make the big play in the fourth quarter. I think they come out of this one 23-20. Now let me know how you guys feel about this Immaculate Reception rivalry game down there in the comment section by giving me your score prediction for Steelers versus Raiders here in Week 3. That's going to be it for me today, guys. Really do appreciate all the support. I will see you guys later. Make sure you click that subscribe button. Until then, or until next time, here we go, Steelers.
Immaculate Conception.
The Immaculate Conception game, Coop. I'm not even drunk.
So we do have a slight update here
from
the Steelers, the practice report. A lot of DNPs. We have Patrick Peterson with rest, did not practice.
He's fine.
Damontae Kazee didn't practice with a calf. Minkah didn't practice with his chest injury, but Mike Tomlin says they feel good about where he is.
Okay, that's good.
Marcus Golden didn't practice with a knee. Isaac Seumalo didn't practice either. Darnell Washington, Gunnar Olszewski, Larry Ogunjobi all did not practice.
Yeah, it's early in the week.
Yeah, it's only Wednesday.
It's only Wednesday, so I really don't look at the practice report until Friday, because that's the last practice day.
Yeah.
Because, if people don't practice all week, then it gets a bit hairy.
Usually guys don't practice on Wednesday just because they rest.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not too worried about any of those names there. The big news for me there is that Minkah Fitzpatrick's probably going to be playing this week. Minkah's a dog. He's going to be playing if he can play.
Tomlin, here's the direct quote from Tomlin. He said, precautionary reasons, he had a chest injury. They wanted to exercise an abundance of precaution, so they took him to the hospital. That was about Monday night. And then they said they feel good about where he is. We'll see where the week leads us.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I think Minkah's going to play.
I think he's going to play.
I think he's going to have a good game. He hasn't really been like a super splashy player to this point in the season. Like he hasn't had like incredible plays like we've seen him in years past. I'm not saying that he stinks now or anything like that, but like usually this guy's a ball hawk. This guy's getting interceptions
for sure,
and he's getting his face in the fan, so to speak. And last week these Browns fans, these fraudulent Browns fans, they're calling him a dirty player for taking out Nick Chubb. But it's like, here's the thing, man. You can't hit a player high. And now apparently we can't go low for a running back either. Like where the frick do you want to hit him?
Where do you want to go? Yeah.
Where do you want to go?
What are you supposed to do?
These players are playing at incredibly high speeds. Like what do you expect, man? Like these things, these accidents are going to happen. So the Browns fans are just frauds for even insinuating that Minkah Fitzpatrick would even think about doing that intentionally to another player. I mean, Deshaun Watson would love to grab a face mask and freaking pull it. Did it twice, okay? I mean, seriously. So I don't want to hear.
Remember how confident those bums were before the game?
What's that?
Remember how confident those bums were before the game?
Yeah, I don't think we have the tweet here.
I can pull it up.
Yeah, you pull up Petey's tweet.
I'll get it.
Pull up our Browns host tweet who said he was 999% sure that the Steelers would lose to the Cleveland Browns. Guess what, Petey? It didn't happen. You guys the Browns are going to be last place. Because Tomlin's going to get this team to at least like 8-9, 9-8. That's just what he does every year. Mr. Wallbanger? Love that name. He says, love the channel. Thank you so much, man. We do our best every single day to give you guys the best Steelers news and rumors coverage for free here on YouTube. So if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button. We're going to be doing our live watch party. It's the biggest watch party for the Steelers on YouTube every single week. You want to join the biggest Steelers community here, live community? Click that subscribe button and join us, man. It's going to be so much fun on Sunday. Hopefully Kenny plays better. Kenneth.
Cassie says 10-6 Steelers.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, this isn't good Hugh football, babe. They score more than 10 points.
Here's what the haters said that was going to happen in this game. This
fraud right here said he was 999% sure out of 10. So what is that to the decimal? It's like 9,999 out of 1,000 games.
That's okay.
The Browns win. But guess what? We won the one game, Petey. Screw you, man. F the Browns. F the Browns. F the Browns. Get the F the Browns chat.
Let's go, baby.
Get the F the Browns in the chat right now. Coop, put up the super chat menu here real quick.
Let's do it.
I'm going to do a shot clock here. 5 minutes.
Steelers Superfan 8 says, do we do fantasy football? We do.
We do. I do. We've got 5 minutes. Oh, we got Jeremy Chugs. Look who we found. Let's go. Get the Chugs in the chat.
Someone was asking for you earlier. I can't remember who it was, but
here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
Oh, how sweet was it whooping the Browns' asses?
Let's go!
Woo! F the Browns. F the Browns. F the Browns. F the Browns. We got a Jeremy Chugs cameo today.
Let's go.
It's always great to see Jeremy Chugs' face around here, man. All right, so I got a 5-minute timer here. Put up the super chat menu, Coop, when you get a chance. We're going to go half price on our super chat items.
Half price!
Except for Steelers Talk Gold Club. Okay, so any amount super chat, we'll do a Here We Go Steelers chant. $5, you join the Hard Hat Hall of Fame. $10, we'll sing the O Canada song. And then I'll do $20 for lemon juice shots. All right, so we got 5 minutes left. Take advantage of it, and then we're gonna say goodbye. We really do appreciate all 100 real ones in the chat right now. And Coop, give me a prediction that you have for this week's game versus the Raiders.
Joey Porter Jr. will get his first career interception.
I like that one, man. I really
He will pick off that fraud Jimmy G.
I mean, with the 2 pass breakups he had on Monday in his limited action, with the way Levi has played, which is not great to start the year, I would think that he's going to get more snaps this week.
Wasn't there one play, I can't remember it, you'll have to remind me, where Levi went up for an interception and it literally just went right through his hands?
Yes, Deshaun throws up a punt into the end zone, and it's literally right in his hands. It goes right through. I mean, Levi, I've been a supporter of Levi. I mean, Cassie.
She says make Jack do shots.
Yeah, lemon shots for 20. If you send in a 20, I'll do a lemon shot. We got this nasty lemon juice here. I hate lemon stuff, by the way. But I'll do it for a 20 here. We got about 3 minutes and 30 seconds left for you guys to take advantage before we say goodbye for this week. And then also make sure you subscribe. Join us on Sunday night. We're going to get going at around 6 p.m., depending on studio space. That's when we want to go live. It might be a little bit later. It might be like 6:15.
Yeah, maybe 6:15. We'll see.
Depending on who's in the studios at that time. But we're going to try to go live around 7 p.m. Eastern time Sunday night. And it's going to be a great time, man.
Damian Roy says 24-10 Steelers. I like it.
24-10, that'd be a good win. You know, that means the defense
they
played
scored
well.
3 touchdowns.
And that means that your offense scores 3 touchdowns, or at least 2. You know,
at least, yeah.
And then the defense, because the defense could absolutely get another touchdown. Cassie, when we went to Steelers training camp, Cassie actually got Levi Wallace's autograph.
Oh, that's dope.
And she got a picture with him.
So Cassie's a Levi fan.
So, yeah, she's a big Levi fan. It's just too bad he sucked this year.
I'm sorry, Cassie. He blows.
I don't know if I want to go he blows, but
he's not better than Joey.
He hasn't been better than Joey Porter Jr.
That's
to this point. So, I'm looking forward to see what Joey can do throughout this season. I would love to see him this week specifically because I think the game plan needs to be a lot of press coverage.
And that's what he's good at.
And that's what he's great at. He's got great length. He's got a great punch at the line of scrimmage. I think he could be potentially an X factor. I didn't list him as one of my X factors just because I don't know if he's going to play all that much. But he could absolutely be a complete catalyst for the Steelers defense this week, Coop.
I kind of just think that's what he is exactly. He's a catalyst. He's an energy bringer. He hits hard and he plays physical. And I think he is a Steeler through and through. And I think Joey Porter Jr. is going to have a big impact.
Yeah, man. I think he's going to be a really good player for us for a long time. He works his ass off. I mean, every single day at Steelers training camp, he'd be the first guy out there working on the jugs machine. So I love that work ethic. He's hungry. His dad, of course, is a Steelers legend. I mean, how can you be the son of Joey Porter
and not be a dog?
Not be an incredible football player for the Pittsburgh Steelers? That would be a huge disappointment. I want to see Broderick Jones get the start this week. I don't know if we're going to see that. Like I said, Mike Tomlin is extremely loyal to his players.
He needs to. Dan Moore stinks.
Dan Moore has been awful to this point, man. Like, when you said Levi Wallace blows, I'm not too sure about that. But Dan Moore Jr., he kind of stinks, man. Let's just be completely honest with each other here. He's been awful through the first couple of weeks. Jamie says 22-17 Steelers. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Love it. Matt Hyde says 24-10.
I like it.
I would love that. I mean, that's a decisive victory. On the road, too.
In Vegas?
In Vegas.
They can go rage after the game on the strip.
But here's the thing. I think that the Raiders fans versus the Steelers fans, I think the Steelers fans are going to take over that stadium. I think we're going to see a lot of terrible towels.
It's going to be Acrisure South.
Yeah, it's going to be Acrisure South. Absolutely. Well, Southwest. Southwest, yeah.
We'll be there.
But, you looked at last year, the Atlanta game, the Colts game. Tons of terrible towels. This fan base is the best in the world at traveling.
Worldwide.
They're worldwide. They're international. So I know the Yinzers down there in Las Vegas are going to be there. I know people are going to be traveling all over the planet to Vegas to watch this game.
Yinz will be there.
It's a cool stadium. It's a great city. It's going to be a lot of fun, man, and we're going to have a great time talking trash with our friends at the Raiders Report. Jeremy Chuggs is actually going to be.
Jeremy Chuggs will be in Vegas.
He's going to be in Vegas on Sunday for the game. Actually.
I think they're going to be back for the game.
Oh, they're going to be back.
I believe so.
So Jeremy Chuggs is actually going to Vegas this weekend for some sort of Raiders party because he's the host of he's the producer for our Raiders channel here at Chat Sports. He's going to be on the opposing side, so we're going to be doing a bunch of F-chugs this weekend, which should be a lot of fun. All right, man, that's going to be it for today's show. Really do appreciate all 87 real ones. Make sure you type real one in the chat right now. Type real one. Before we say goodbye, I want to give some shout-outs to the real ones that are still here. We got Steel Dog. We got Tremaine Terry. We got Charles. What's up, Charles? We got Cassie. Thank you so much for making it to the end, babe. Pittsburgh Steelers fan 8. Who else is here? Who else is a real one, man?
Y'all are goats.
Can we get to 100 likes before we sign off, please? Can we get up to 100 likes? We need 6 more likes.
Jack's birthday is next week. Is
That's
that
right.
true?
Next week, next Wednesday is my birthday.
Next Wednesday on Steelers Live?
So we'll be doing some special stuff for my birthday next Wednesday.
Party?
We're having a birthday party on Steelers Talk next week. So make sure you don't miss next week because it's my birthday. We're going to be doing some crazy stuff next week, man. We got DJ KJ. We got Jamie. We got Mike. We got Matt. We got Frankie. We got Damian. We got DJ KJ. We got Tremaine. Steelers Fan 8. Mimic Tarzier. I hope I'm saying that right. I think I say that wrong every time I say it. But thank you guys so much for making it to the end of today's show.
We're 1 like away.
We're 1 like away. Can we get 1 more like to get to 100? Please.
I'll kiss you on the forehead. Maybe, I don't know if they want that or not.
That's a little weird, Coop.
Nah.
That's a little weird.
Nah.
I can't see you kissing anybody on their forehead. Una pucuto. All right, man. We're still at 99 likes. We're not signing off till we get 100. There we go. We got a couple likes.
Let's go.
Thank you guys so much. Shout out to all the real ones that show up every single week. We will see you guys live Sunday night for Steelers versus Raiders. Coop, it's been great today.
Always fun seeing Yins.
It's always fun seeing Yins, man. You said that right.
Let's go.
You said that right. Coop's so happy with himself. All right, man. We'll see you guys Sunday.
See you, boys.
See you guys later.